Last week, Sir asked me,
leave your entries in the subreddit bros, and I'll watch submissions in the next episode of the Wine.
Last week, Sir asked me and everyone else to make this video to present our topics, and because my topic is YouTube and copyright laws, I thought a YouTube intro would be apt and entertaining. I really hope you don't cut my marks, sir, please. Okay, so now starting with the actual presentation. My project goes into YouTube and the copyright claims and copyright strike and how copyright laws work with YouTube, because YouTube is a platform which a lot of people use to post their content. So it is also a place where copyright should be enforced. Now, YouTube was started long while back, 2005. It was started by a bunch of employees from PayPal, which was founded by Elon Musk. I will never stop bringing Elon Musk up. Okay. Fun fact. YouTube was started as in the start, it was supposed to be a dating app. So glad it didn't turn out like that. But in the starting, they had very low features. They had 480p. Then they added with Google, they got better resolution and more advertisement, and they got monetized and everything like that. And they got rid of the stars. Okay. Now, the copyright law in India, I'll get over this really briefly. Copyright law in India gives a bunch of rights. It's a bundle of rights given to someone who has created and who is the author of either a literary or artistic or musical work. They have moral rights, but also other rights such as right to distribute, right to translate, right to modify, and other rights. It's a bundle of rights that someone who is the author of something has. And this is not just Indian law, this is copyright law in general. Now, what is there's two things which broadly come under the YouTube's copyright protection measures. Firstly is content ID claims, which is also called copyright claims, and the second thing is called copyright strike. Now, copyright or content ID claims, they are much more automatic. Now, every video which is or any content, when it's uploaded to YouTube, it gets something called a content ID, and you have to make sure that you get a content ID. So if I uploaded original music of my own, I have to make sure that my video gets a content ID. Now, after I get a content ID, every video that is ever uploaded on YouTube is going to go through all of these videos and make sure that my video with that content ID is not there. Now, after I have a music video with my content ID and in that music, if someone else uploads it again or something like that, and YouTube's algorithm, which is no one knows how it works, figures out that their video contains my content with my content ID, it's going to automatically send a content ID claim to that person. Now, after that claim goes through, there can be a bunch of things. I can just ignore it. I can make sure that I get the revenue. I can make sure that it is not shown anywhere, but it's not that serious of an issue, content claims. Second thing, which is even really, really important, is content strike. Now, a content strike is much more important because a content strike happens when someone files a DMCA report and legally goes forth and applies for a copyright strike under DMCA, and it's a legal formal action. Now, the thing with copyright strike is that even though it's a more formal or more serious thing, there is no preliminary information that one has to give to put a copyright strike. And a copyright strike is very big for someone who does YouTube as a career and who's making money out of it, because it takes the video down. And when you get 3 strikes, and every strike makes it worse for you to live in YouTube, because it will restrict your audience, it will restrict your reach, it will stop you from live streaming and stuff like that, and you get 3 strikes and you're out of YouTube. So it's a big deal. So content ID, copyright claim, I explained it to you. Now let's talk about the issues that YouTubers or Indian YouTubers, that any YouTuber comes across when dealing with copyright claims and copyright strikes. Firstly is false claims. As I said, when someone puts a copyright strike, they don't need to give a lot of information for them to take your video down and jeopardize your career and jeopardize your monetary stream. So that's very bad. Now, when there is a second thing is extortion. Now, when there is a copyright strike, you can obviously put forth your stance, but a lot of time it just goes unanswered, because if you are a small YouTuber, most likely YouTube does not care about you. They won't look into it a lot. Now, the only option after that you have is to share your personal information to the person who's making the strike. And a lot of the time what happens is that this person who's making the strike is calling you up and extorting you for removing the strike. And this is really hard because of the lack of adjudication that YouTube does, because it's not an adjudicating body, it's just a private company. So they work in their best interest, which is to cut down costs and make sure that there is firstly no legal cases against them where they are not a party, and make sure that most of it is automated. So they are very careful to make sure that even if there is a small chance of copyright, they will take the video down, which adversely affects the creator but makes it so that it's really hard to falsely take videos down. And unless you are a big YouTuber, your problems are not going to be addressed, is what mostly happens. Now, fair use is on YouTube, but again depends from case to case. Some of the things courts have looked into is purpose. So was it to critique, was it a movie review, or was it they were just like making it that the original content and the content they are using it for is just making sure that it's not for critique or any fair use thing. Like, you can't just have 90% of the screen of the movie and 5% of your face, and like your face and what you're doing has no value, and you're just making sure that people watch the movie on your platform instead. The nature of the copyrighted work, whether it had some originality, the amount of originality work, and the effect of it, these are some things that should be taken into consideration even on YouTube, which courts take into consideration. Now, some of the solution. Firstly, there should be verification of claims in copyright strike. I do understand that YouTube is just a private company and they don't want to put so much amount of time into every strike, but as a platform which has such a significant impact on free speech, I think that is something. Number two, mediation. Now, I don't feel that mediation, when I say mediation, means an actual mediation, but it means that there should be a third party between YouTube and the creators, which can make sure that there is a liaison between these two, to make sure that there is good communication between that. And most importantly, I do think so is education of creators. I don't think a lot of creators do understand the legalities of copyright while using YouTube and how to go about it. Conclusion, I think there's a fine balance that needs to be maintained between a private company such as YouTube having such a big impact on free speech, and we can't force them to be a court or make sure that they put so much efforts into making sure that every claim, is thoroughly researched and everything. But because they have such a big impact, I do think they have some social responsibility to make sure that there is some structure to making sure that people's content, which is their own, do not get struck down by some fake allegations. And that is my presentation. Thank you so much for being here. Bye bye. Yes, it's over. You can go. Yes. Yes. No, it's over. It actually is.